Hello, my beautiful guys and dolls, and welcome to an episode of Before the Curtain. I'm your host, Abbie Campbell, and we are here to discover the passion behind the performance. Artists of all backgrounds will share their stories about what it takes to create, survive, and thrive in the competitive world of entertainment. Finding inspiration in their journeys, we aim to bring you everything that happens before the curtain. Today's artist is an unstoppable force, and in my complete biased opinion, an amazing human.
Aww.
She's an award-winning executive event producer and creative director based in Las Vegas. She is co-owner of Base of Operations, which is an event production and design company specializing in immersive, high-impact experiences. Her expertise spans over a decade in producing high-profile corporate events, live productions, and large-scale food and music festivals. She has a degree in event design and management and specializes in creative direction, live event storytelling, production logistics, operational execution, and cross-functional event coordination. I don't think I could say that 5 times fast. As a creative director, her passion lies in innovation by developing compelling event concepts and immersive guest experiences that align with each client's vision and objectives. And my friends, let me tell you, she delivers. Her collaborative approach, meticulous attention to detail, and talent in transforming bold ideas into unforgettable experiences has produced her exceptional reputation. My guys and dolls, please help me welcome to the mic someone I'm very excited to rave about, the incomparable Hope Bouck.
Aw. Now say it again, but a rap. Let's do some music.
There's a lot of EX words, and I noticed that earlier today, and I was like, wow, we're using all the vocabulary. I love it.
That's hysterical.
So when did you find that you had a passion for producing?
Okay, so when I was 9, I was a dancer early on. My mom is a ballet teacher. You know my mom, actually. Shout out to Mom, Miss Lori. It's fun. Some people who've auditioned for me put together that's my mom, which is fun. Anyway, sorry. So she was a ballerina and at an early age knew I liked to dance. So I was in full-on competitive early dancing. I think I started point when I was 10. She had me grinding ballet hardcore training. Anyway, so I was very young, I was open to the world of what we do now. And at around 9 years old, I remember thinking, I want to do the full show. I don't want to just be the dancer. I don't want to just be the one who has to be told the choreography to do. I was young. I wanted to do the show. I wanted to do the lights. I wanted to have a say in the costumes and the stage build and all that stuff. And I had a personality when I was little that was ambitious. And I always knew that dancing wasn't going to be enough. I wanted to touch all of those things. And then as I got older and I started, auditioning and being in that world as a dancer, I say this all the time when you come to any of my rehearsals or auditions, I knew just being a dancer wasn't going to be enough because dancers get treated sometimes so poorly. And I just knew at an early age, I wanted to help them be seen as artists and humans and not just the back number, number 22, we're going to put you over here, because there's so much more to an artist than that, to a dancer, which I say artist. And so, yeah, I was pretty determined to say I'm going to do the full thing, and went into college, got my degree for it, worked every gig I could think of to learn as much as I could of what puts it all together. And yeah, that was a long answer to your question.
I love it. Was there anything that you can think of that inspired that, like a show or music video or anything that you were like, yeah, that's it?
I was really into music videos growing up because I loved music, obviously being a dancer. Both my parents were musicians as well, so it was always music in the house at an early age. And again, my mom being a dancer, I was always at the studio with her, so I would see all of the classes going on. So music was a big thing. And then I would watch music videos, and I saw music videos as little movies and stories to tell life. And even when I was little, anything I did, I always had music in my mind of, I'm walking to the store, what music would I play to be my little music video? And so music videos were a big thing. And it's a cliche, but Michael Jackson, early on, I loved Bad. When I was 2, I kept walking around saying, I'm bad. And I remember my family was like, it's probably bad that she's saying that. But I was just really into the storytelling at such a young age. And in my mind, if you want control of the story and you needed to do all of it. You needed to learn all of it. And when I was like in third, fourth grade, I learned I loved math and I loved budgets and I loved logistics. And I was like, all right, as I got older, I was like, this really does give me the best of both worlds. I have the left brain, which liked logistics and math and budgets. And I loved counting money. I loved handling money. It was weird. And so I love managing budgets. It sounds so like stupid. But then I also loved the creative side and the artistic and the emotion and the drama. So I was like, oh, a producer director, you get to do both. And a lot of times I've been hired because I do both. I kind of like am able to talk to the accountants, and then I'm able to talk to the techs, and I'm able to talk to the creatives and be like, all right, we don't have money for this. We do have money for this. Let's bring it all back. And then I like managing all that.
Yeah, that's got to be a good, great superpower. Because I don't know if it's...
I don't, yeah, sure.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
guess so.
know. I think many producers, I mean, maybe just the ones that I've come into contact with that don't have excitement for both. They do both.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know?
Yeah, I do think it's a weird tick that I have. I will say I haven't met a lot of people that that tackle things like me, and I don't know if it's a good thing, but it's a weird thing. A lot of people, my family too, are always like, what are you doing? Or you like doing that? You like doing the full nights over, the load-ins overnight, then going in and that hustle and that last minute, the weather came and tore everything down. You have to get everyone together and rebuild it. It is like a high. So it's like a weird little thing that I love. And I think my personality just kind of fits. And it was one of those things, and this being a dancer, it's so hard to be the best all of the time. I don't know if that makes sense, but in life, you're always going to find someone who's, the better artist, the better dancer, the whatever, and it's such a big pool of such wonderful talent. And I am a perfectionist, and I quickly too was like, I'm never going to be the best dancer. I'm never going to be the fittest. I'm never going to be this. I also love bread, so I didn't want to be I didn't want to be stick thin. It was too hard to manage that damn diet. But I was like, but I'm really good at what I do now. I'm really good at that. And it made me feel like, okay, I can have a lot of confidence in doing that. Hopefully that doesn't make me sound cocky. I love it. It's such a drug. It's such a high.
I love that. No, It doesn't make you sound cocky, because you also need to know what you're good at.
And I know what I'm not good at. And that is so important with so many people I work with. Know what your talents are, but know what your not talents are. That's a bad way of saying that. But know the people who are really talented. And I think being a producer director, that's such a skill to know you don't know all the answers, but you know the people who do, who specialize in something. For instance, I like to add a lot of fun lights and lasers into the shows I do. And shout out to Drake Doran, who does my lasers. He is brilliant at that. And I normally have an idea of what I want, but I would be foolish to think I know more than him, because that's what he's a genius in. Mm-hmm. So it's pulling those people and building your team that make producing shows so much more fun than just being by yourself. Like, if you were just perfect at everything, what a boring life. In my mind, I think it's more fun as a team to be like, hey, you did something I never could have imagined, high five. And then, they normally reciprocate that feeling.
A puzzle wouldn't be fun if it was only one piece.
Aw, there you go.
Yeah. That's the joy.
It's true.
In putting it together. I love that. You're from Vegas?
No.
No?
My whole family's from Studio City, so LA. So that's where my whole family grew up. My grandpa was a studio actor. A lot of people know him. He's passed away now, but he was in Dick Tracy and a lot of old Western movies. Mm-hmm. So my family was already into that industry. But then they moved here when I was little, around 1. So grew up here, but wasn't born here. So we'll say both. We'll say 50-50.
Okay.
Born in LA, where my whole family's from. That's where I get my hippie stuff. And then raised for the most part in Las Vegas.
Have you ever thought about pursuing or doing what you do now in other cities?
Well, I get to have a lot of people hire me, and we travel a lot, which is great. It's not just stuck in Vegas. And anytime I've thought about moving, at least right now when we're kind of booming with the business, it just seems silly because so much happens in Vegas. But yeah, I've done many events in the US, a couple out of the country too. So Yeah. I think that's what's cool. What we do is you can take it anywhere. You're really not stuck in like, oh, they only do this one thing.
I have a really odd question, and I don't know why it's popping into my brain, but because now because I wasn't sure exactly where you're from, but I knew that you'd been here for a while. Yeah. But I want to ask, how has the entertainment or production world like changed? Seeing it as basically growing up in it and now like working in it professionally.
Social media, I mean, that's such a cliche answer. Social media is such a game changer. Sorry, hit the mic. I was so reluctant to do the whole like Instagram, social media, because I liked the old school. I liked like, you don't know dancers until you go to the audition or you see the shows or you watch the So You Think You Can Dances or, whatever shows were going on. But now social media, so many dancers are getting hired because they have a big following. And sometimes I don't like that. Sometimes I think I don't want to say it's cheating because it's really not. These people are doing some hard work. But I think when you can dance behind a camera in your comfortable setting, you can rewind and, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't hit that turn right, or I was off the beat a little bit. And you can kind of keep, doing it till it looks good. And I'm not saying this, I feel like I'm in trouble. I'm not saying this for all. Sometimes there are people who just post, classwork, and that one you're doing it fresh. But there was something back in the day where you had one shot to get seen. It was that audition and you had to nail it. And normally you only had 2 times to do groups or whatever it is, or you had to be at every class to get seen. So I think it's obviously a blessing. It gives people way more opportunity, but it's wild that when I audition and I'm casting, a lot of time I go to social media and I look through, dancers' videos that they have here. Actually, it's almost all the time because I know a lot of people don't audition great. I never auditioned well. I always choked, or I just got too nervous. I was in my head, but I would do great in class. So what I do now, and what I do when I have my team, like David Mayorga, who I work with a lot, Danny Maloney, I work with a lot, will literally go on their Instagrams to be like, hey, like their audition was a little off, but let's like hunt through their Instagram. Can we see a style that we're really trying to get? And so a lot of people get booked through social media with us, even though I'm reluctant. And I still think I wish the old days sometimes, but it's a great tool to also have.
I have never heard that perspective before.
Really?
Yes. I know people or have heard a lot that, your social media needs to be updating all the dance videos because you can get booked directly from that. But I never hear about it in the sense of like after a live audition to go back.
All the time.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, phone my friend, like call David. He'll tell you. There have been I don't know if it's good to reveal this, but there have been so many times where we'll do an audition and you've worked with me before. Some of the things I do are a little outside of the box. And I think sometimes people are kind of like, maybe it stunts or like it shocks them on, not shocks, but it takes them aback on the day. So I think people get in their head and maybe they don't do their best. And we normally see that. And we're normally like, really feel like this person, if they had a little bit more time to understand the concept, understand the choreo or the music selection that we have, because it's normally a little different. We always think, let's look at them when they're comfortable. It's great to do well. And we do notice when someone does well in audition. Like that's such a wonderful skill. Almost every single job I've hired for in the past 5 years, I've hunted social medias to say, hey, I saw this person at the audition. I was missing this from them. I really didn't feel anything, that they had the look, or maybe they didn't have the look or something. And we'll go and we'll hunt and then we'll see it. We'll be like, that's what we were looking for. And then we hire that way.
I love that though, because okay.
I thought that was such a common thing.
I mean, I haven't heard of it.
That's cool.
But I personally love auditioning. It is.
You are a rare person.
I do.
I hated it.
I am all about the high stress, you have to show up, show out, and that's like, I got you. But I do know people who like, again, do have like that audition, anxiety, and it's crippling.
Anxiety is the right word. That's what I meant. Anxiety. Yeah.
And I've seen incredible dancers who you like, I see in class and other scenarios who just are incredible.
Yeah,
and then
and they
in the
bomb.
audition, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So to hear that from your perspective is like, that's awesome.
I want to respect the people who do show up though. Like the yous of the world, when you audition well, like I clock that and I notice it and it's applauded. But there are some times where we're looking for something very specific. And let's say I need a cast of 20 for a show and we only find 10. What am I going to do? It's hard to keep re-auditioning, whatever. So at that point, it's also selfish of me of like, fuck, I didn't get everyone that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a perfectionist. I want to find the right dancer. There is a dancer out there that will fit this, and I know they're out there, but maybe they didn't do good on an audition or whatever it is. Or there was one dancer, I won't say who, I only knew them as contemporary, but they had the look that I needed. And so I went through their social media and I found a really dope freestyle hip hop. And I was like, oh, I would have never thought to hire this person for this hip hop piece because I know them only as contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
And then sure enough, I found the video and I booked them.
Oh, I love that. That makes my heart so happy.
Yeah, I think it's only fair in my mind. I just think it's fair.
Yeah. No, that's great. I love that. And okay, wait. Too many questions popped into my mind.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm
I'm interesting. Yeah. It's not like that bad date where you're like, I don't know, how's the weather? If you start asking me about the weather, oh God. That'd be funny though. You should do that at the end. You're like, and so how's the weather?
So what was it like for you to get your first big production job where it was like, oh, this was my idea. This is what I always dreamed of?
Oh, ooh, I have to think what that is. There's been different wins. And almost every show I've done, there's a client that I have to answer to. So sometimes I'll really want an idea and they'll say no. And you have to like respect them. Like, okay, well, what do you want? And we'll adjust. And because my job is to make them happy at the end of the day. So I'm still waiting for the day where it's like, do whatever you want.
Here's $1 million.
Yeah. Oh God. Those are good budgets. Anyway. I'm trying to think. Actually, you know what? No, I can think of one where the client was pretty cool and was like, do whatever you want. I'll give you a theme and then do whatever you want. It was the rock and roll one that we did, that flash mob in the indoor. And that one was pretty fucking dope. That one was cool. It's that high. It's kind of like Christmas. You get so excited for it. And like when you're a kid, I mean, I guess maybe you're adults too, but you get so excited and then like Santa comes and you've been waiting for this and it's such a special moment, but you don't want it to end, but you know tomorrow's no longer going to be Christmas, but you're like, just savor the moment, be in your mind, but is everything going good? I think that's what it is. It's normally an incredibly proud moment of the team of like, we all succeeded. It's just boring if you just do it by yourself, but it's kind of like, hey, people trusted my idea. People shared theirs because I inspired them in some way or they inspired me. Mm-hmm. And that's such a passionate thing. And that one particular rock and roll one with the celebrities that we did, I loved seeing the audience's response. And it kind of like took over a little bit on social media for a second. So much so like my friend was at like a restaurant down the street that night and like hit me up and was like, did you just produce like a show with like Prince? And I was like, yeah. They're like, people are talking about it over here. And I had a friend in New York who was in an event thing and they were like, did you do this? And I was like, yeah, like me and the team I'm with. And they were like, people are talking about it in New York. And I was like, dude, it's so cool. Not because we want the attention, but we want the piece to get the attention because it's kind of like you're that nerd that has this cool idea and you were the weird girl in high school and everyone thought you were a little off, but here like people appreciated like visions and things and we came to entertain, you know, and it made people feel good, which I like doing.
I love that.
Oh,
that piece was incredible.
And I've had so many dancers still hit me up like, can we do it again? And I love that.
That
like,
part.
I mean, we've all had pieces we didn't like dancing, but to give dancers something that was fun to them, that is also a win for me of like, oh, hey, like maybe I do know what I'm talking about. Like other people enjoyed it too. It's not just the weird thing in my head. Yeah. So it's that moment of when you get to see it come to life is really cool. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm hoping you don't shoot this question down, but you never know.
Rejected. Is there a red button for guests who don't want to?
Oh my gosh, I should get one. That'd be
That
funny.
actually is kind of funny.
Yeah, next question.
I would just fuck with you the whole no. Ask me about the weather.
Because you're so passionate about storytelling, which I so admire, because the power of live entertainment can move mountains.
Yeah.
I believe
It can be healing.
Oh,
it's gotten me out of dark places.
Have you ever been at a place where you're like, I should take the gig, or I should do this because, it's a paycheck, but it really isn't a storytelling thing and doesn't excite me?
What can I say? Okay.
Because I think all performers
No,
hit that.
Okay, so I want to be careful how I say this, because I didn't grow up with money. So money is important. And growing up, you've had to do ridiculous jobs to pay the bills and stuff like that. So I don't want to say, oh, I can turn things down. Like, no, we all need money at the end of the day. But I will say there was a job that I was headhunted for, and I took the job, and I told them how I work and my process and what I'm passionate about. And I was far enough in my career that I could be picky, a little bit picky on saying yes or no to things, but they did not. It was about the paycheck, and it was doing things I didn't believe in. It wasn't just like a little, like, there are some clients that ask me to do things and I'm like, okay, that's corny, but we'll do it. But this particular job, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't put my name. It felt very hypocritical with just how I've expressed how I am. And I really respect art. And when I say art, I think art is more than just, painting. I think it's dancing. I think it's storytelling. I think it's, writers. I think it's musicians. So that's what I mean when I say artist. It would go against everything I believe in as an artist. It'd be great for the bank account, but I've always been like a saver anyway. So I don't spend a lot of money. So I knew I had enough in like savings that I would feel comfortable saying like, hey, thank you so much, but I am not the right fit for this. And it's always like something that I'm super respectful and I'm grateful, but it would have insulted my heart to do it. I don't know if does that kind of answer enough.
Well, I think everybody.
I don't want to give specifics because I don't want to offend anyone, but
I think everybody in our industry takes jobs because it's like, oh, I really need the money, but I really don't like doing this kind of work.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people can get stuck in ruts, you know, and it's like hearing that, the way to kind of check back in with yourself is to like what you just said there at the end. It like went against what's really in your heart.
It was a lot. Again, we've all had to do things where we're like, oh, I wouldn't do it that way. I would do it this way, but you have to compromise because the client wants it a certain way or such and such wants it a certain way. And that I'm definitely never get to do everything I want. Like you have to like bend. Of course. But this particular job, it was literally like everything I preach, everything I'm passionate. It was the polar opposite. And I was like, I just can't do it. And the person I was with, I don't want to give out timelines because people can figure it out. But I like called them and I was like, I just can't. I'll find other money. I promise I'll hustle, like however to replace this particular paycheck. I just couldn't do it because it was so against what I believed in.
But also like how inspiring it is to hear that like you can make that decision. And like,
I would recommend have a savings. Like be smart about your money. But it also you have to have. It's a lot like having a relationship. There are things that you bend and you compromise on, but then you have your deal breakers. And this was a lot of my deal breakers of what I do. And I just felt like people who know me would be disappointed. I think hypocrisy is just annoying. So I didn't want to be a hypocrite, and I just had to like stick to it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I will say, like, in this situation, the whole one door closes, another door opens. I always liked that saying. Another opportunity ended up coming in right after. So in a weird way, I like looked up to God to be like, okay, I made the right decision. I stuck to it.
Thanks, big guy.
But I always say, thank you. I always say whenever I do, rehearsals and stuff, I'm very into the music we select, and I always say I will never give you a song that I wouldn't want to dance to, and I would never give you a costume that I wouldn't wear. I think that's important. Like, put yourself in the performer's shoes. Would you do this? And if you wouldn't, then that's not fair to put that on them. So that's like a big thing for me. And you've heard me probably say that quite a few times.
This is the part where I can rave about you.
Aw,
because I have never worked for anybody or a producer or company who was as hands-on. And it's like, I love that.
Oh, I'm glad that's a good thing and not annoying. I'm very yeah.
And you're so passionate, and it's just beautiful, because there's so many times where the people who, or the production company or person, has hired the entertainment and the choreographer, but they're not there.
Yeah.
They're not.
It's very common. Yeah.
Yes.
And I lose jobs because of that, actually.
Being hands-on?
Yeah, I've lost a lot of jobs.
Interesting. Because they didn't like that you were hands-on?
I don't know if they didn't like it. They didn't understand it. It didn't fit. They're like, well, that's not how we do things. For the past 20, 30 years, this is the structure. It's literally exactly what you just said. The top person's here.
Yeah.
Then they hire this. That's their protocol. And I don't fit that mold. And they've asked me, well, we like your work. This happens a lot, actually. We like your work, but you need to do it on our protocol. Sorry, I keep hitting this. Our protocol. And I tell them, I can't do that, because you're hired, know me because of the work that I do, and you like the work that I do because I am hands-on.
Yeah.
So if you're asking me to break the process that I've spent years crafting and not perfecting, because there's always things to learn from, but I was like, you're not going to get my work. I was like, if you had me do, and I've had to say this to a lot of people, I was like, you would step back on show day to be like, well, this isn't what you normally do. And I would then say, that's because you didn't let me do it the way that I do it. But yeah, I've had a lot of people say, thank you, no thank you, because of that. And it's another one of those things, I can't change it, because I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I think of this, so when I'm doing a show or an event or whatever it is, it's on my mind 24/7. I'm constantly I'll wake up in the middle of the night and okay, do this, don't do this, talk to this person, it's part of a producer or director's job. But yeah, I can't step away. My husband points that out a lot. And I think he loves it, but other times he's kind of delegate. But I just can't do it, because like you said, I'm just really passionate about it, and it has to be done. If it's my show, other people, they can do it how they want. But I just like the hands-on, because everything has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that purpose needs to be discussed and dug into, and let's think about this. It's all connected. Otherwise, we're just moving to music, or it's just another event with a band and food. And it's no, let's do more. Let's make it mean more. There has to be a reason. There's something happening at this point. And that's where storytelling comes. There's always a purpose to a story. It's not just, back in the competition days, 90% of the dancing, as I grew up in that world, was really cool moves to really cool music. But there wasn't a story. There wasn't a purpose, and that is a wonderful way to craft your skill and get that technique and be a powerhouse. But for me, and just my own opinion and my own preference, why are you turning right there? What's the purpose? What is your character's purpose for this moment? Or why are you not even just dancing, for events? Well, why is that decor over there? What's the story? What's the client journey? I did a really cool event. I did sign an NDA for this, so I need to be careful what I say, but I bid it. Oh, I have to be careful what I say. Okay. I bid against another company. I was very grateful that I won. And the reason I won it, according to the client, was when I did the pitch of it wasn't a show, it was a full event, but with a lot of entertainment that was mixed in and a lot of decor. It was fun. But the client said I won the bid because when I pitched, the guest journey was a story. It was, you're going to go to this room, and then this room leads this, because this is the character that now finds this out in the group, and then you do this. And everything where I had performers was part of the story. Every performer was costumed and makeup to fit the decor, so it looked like they were a part of it. It wasn't just a beautiful woman in a cool costume. It was that story, and the client really appreciated, because there was a purpose. It wasn't just a random, I'm being careful when I say, it wasn't just a random, wonderful, beautiful artist here. There was a purpose for them, and I really like that.
I I love it so much. And I don't know if anybody's told you, but it spews out of you all the time.
Oh.
And it's
I was like, does it smell?
so no,
I was
no.
like, I think I put deodorant on. Thank you for saying
But
that.
I think I quote this, and I've probably quoted this on a few of my podcasts so far, but my mom told me when I was 8 years old as a competition dancer, she said, Abbie, you're taking up 2.5 minutes of these people's time that they're never going to get back.
Oh.
Make it worth it.
Yes.
And
that's how I've always seen stuff.
Yeah. And like ever since then, it was like, yeah, like why? Everything that I did for like solos, and even now, like I teach at a dance studio and we'll do like group numbers and stuff. And I'm like, it's funny, this year they were like, as all our dance teachers, give us like a pitch. Like,
is that
why?
The one my mom's at with you?
Yeah. And they were like, tell us a little bit about like what dancers would get getting a solo from you.
Yeah.
And I just put in there, I was like, I'm a storyteller. Oh. And I was like, if that is not your thing, I'm not your girl.
Good for you.
And I just like, it's just so powerful, not only for the audience, but also as a performer and a person. I can't rave enough about the power of storytelling and having whys. And even if it's like a really random story, but there's still a purpose, like how can that actually affect an audience? And how is that growing the performer as well?
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing and so lovely to have somebody like you in this world, that it's like,
that's sweet.
You are taking up people's time.
Yeah.
And now I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like a good fun number.
No,
we love that. We love a good fun number.
Yeah, I say it all the time.
Yeah, we love that. We love a step touch. We love and a clap maybe, because like spreading joy and happiness is also so valid.
Yeah.
However, when there are those moments and those opportunities to like dive deep into something, it's so nice, especially in the gig world that I've seen so far. It's like, it
can get so, God, what's the word? Hollow. It just moves. You're just going through the motions. It's just a check, which again, not hating on money. I love money. But I think I live life this way. There has to be a meaning to it. Like, why are we here? We can go super philosophical, but I think early on I saw how healing music could be, or movies. Like, how many times have you had a bad day and you're like, I just want to put a movie on that I love, or I just want to listen to a song or a band that I love? How many times do you go to concerts and you see people just break down and cry because they're just so happy in the moment? That's healing. Music is healing, and then dance to express yourself, singing. Like, dance is, if you can't sing, maybe you can do both, but when you're dancing to music, your body is reading the music, or when you're singing, you're singing the music, or when you're doing a score like a movie, it's your way of expressing what feelings you're feeling. And let's be real, we're human. Life is hard. We're not robots. We don't just wake up and have no emotion. No, there's a huge part of our world, our human beings, our spirits, our souls, however you want to look at it. It goes deep, and it's like, I loved seeing how healing those things could be and impact. And that can help someone through a really hard time. I say it all the time. We're not curing anyone of cancer. We are not doing brain surgery. But you know what? What about the person who's dealing with some health issues? Maybe that song makes them feel better and get through treatment. Maybe someone was having a really shitty day and they went to a show and it made them feel better. It gave them excitement. So what we do is healing. So I think and I'll probably get in trouble saying this, and I don't mean to offend anyone. It is just my opinion, but I think it is an insult. That sounds harsh. I apologize. I'll just say it. But I think it's somewhat of an insult to have, like your mom said, you have 2 minutes you're taking up of their time. In my mind, why not do whatever you can to make it mean something? Go full out, do the extra work, be hands-on. Like, don't just phone it in. Don't just say, oh, this was some cool moves to some cool songs. Like, you have that stage, you have that platform to have that moment. That's why I love that we have Carnival, that is, very popular now. It has been popular for a long time, but I think Carnival is really cool because you get those dancers the opportunity to have an audience, to have a stage, and to have a sound system that's dope. Like, you get that opportunity. Don't waste it. Like, I think that's I never take that for granted. If I ever get when I get opportunities to make a show, to make a story, to do a performance or anything that's going to be for other people's enjoyment, I take that very seriously and I bust my butt to make sure it's the best it can be to entertain these people's 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. That's cool your mom says that.
Oh yeah. And it has never left me.
That's cool.
Ever. It's completely changed my perspective. But also, if you're given a free stage or a free
why not?
Free time,
Yeah.
like why not use it?
So many people would kill for that. Growing up, I remember going to shows to be like, oh, what do I have to do to share my stories with people? And maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't, maybe it'll be weird, maybe they'll like connect with it, or maybe it'll be seen. We all everyone, I think, feels misunderstood in life at sometimes. Like, even if you're Miss Popular or Mr. Popular in school, you still have doubts, like you still have internal thoughts that you have. But art and all of that world, you kind of get to be weird and you get appreciated for it. And I think that's fucking cool.
Yes, it is. And I have to say, your ideas for shows are also just so creative. Where do you get inspiration for them?
Oh, that's a fun question. It comes from, God, so many things. It's like, if you were to ask me specific ones, I could tell you specifically like where it comes from. Like, the one show will give me an idea from something else. The generic answer, the overall, is music. Music will inspire me. I'm normally in my car or walking or something like that.
Can I ask about specific events?
Yeah, no.
Okay. I didn't know if I was allowed.
Yeah.
Like the first one I did with you, the glitch in the TV.
Oh, I loved that one. Okay, here's a fun fact, and I don't know if it's okay if I say this. I won't do names, so no one can really pinpoint it. But apart from one or two people thought when I pitched them that idea, they said no. They were like, no one will get it. It's weird. It's too outside of the box. I actually fought with one person. I won't say but, and when I say fight, I mean like a healthy disagreement. But I'll never forget, like, everyone was like, it's too outside the box. No one's going to get this. Like, it's too weird. And I was so determined. And I was like, no, it makes sense in my head. I can see it. I was like, just trust me. Trust the process. It will make sense. And then I had wonderful people who said, okay, like, we'll try it. And then they end up eventually like starting getting excited. But the client just said, I have to be careful. The client said, I want, like, what did he say? Like, European funk. Oh, it was like European club contemporary jazz. Like that's what it was. And I was like, okay. And I knew, and I love this client. I'm like, shout out to this, if you look at this, I love you. But I remember being like, okay, whoa. And so I was like, what do I do with this? So I literally looked up, he's now my husband. Back then we were just friends. We literally Googled European club music, and we were listening to that, and we're like, okay, we don't know any of this, but this kind of sounds like this, and this kind of sounds like this. So then the whole story, I need a story, right? I can't just have choreographed contemporary jazz to some cool music. I was like, okay, so what do we get from this? What do you see? And I think I was in the car, or I wasn't zoning out because I think I was driving, but it was one of those things where you're just driving along like free, like street where you can kind of just do a repetitive motion. And for whatever reason, a TV popped in my head, and I was like, TV's kind of cool. And I was like, I could build a TV. And I was like, oh, I used to love the color static that was on the TV. If you're probably showing my age, people who are like 20 are like, what? But I remember seeing the TV in my head, and then I remember seeing as a kid the static that was the color bars, right? And then I was like, okay, I want the dancers to look like that. I want the dancers to be the TV. And I thought, okay. And I was like, all right. And so what's the story? And I always had to think of the story. I haven't thought about this in a minute. And I was like, okay, the TV is learning that it can, because it's an old TV. It's learning that it can create these dancers, and these dancers have different styles, and they can produce it. So you all came out of the TV, not one by one, but like section by section. It started with Danny with her contortion, and then it was you guys that came out, and I think you and Chase had your moment. And I was like, oh, the TV is producing them, is creating these channels, and the dancers are then coming out of the TV and they're developing because they're now out in the world. This sounds super trippy, but it makes sense when you see it. But it matched the music that kind of fit. And I always add kind of dark rock and roll in it because I just think that for this particular client, it helps, with the audience. It's normally a lot of like men that come to this particular event. So rock and roll helps, but it really helped tell the story of this TV is figuring out it can produce more and more dancers that do these really cool, very techie kind of sounding things, which goes in line with the TV, which is tech. And then the costumes, you were part of the TV. So we built a big TV and you guys came from that.
That's so cool.
Does that make any sense?
I thought that was the coolest concept. I was like, wow.
And
I'm
not
interesting.
kidding. No one, but one person believed in it. Everyone else said this was never going to work. And some people said, I want to, I'm on board, but I need some more effort to get there. And I said, okay, that's fine. But it was one of those things. I was like, it will work. I was like, you gotta trust. And in the end, the one person that I had a strong disagreement with ended up messaging me saying that was fucking dope. And I said,
you're like, yes.
But I was very lucky that this client really he was like, I like outside of the box. And I was like, we're going to do outside of the TV, which is a box. Yeah. I just loved it. I thought it was so cool. And it gave me an opportunity to do different styles of dancing, right? Because I was like, it didn't make sense to have contemporary, to have rock and roll thrash, to then have jazz, to then have funk, to then have that wonderful, there was a duet. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was it was like a pas de deux almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, that doesn't make sense. How can I make that make sense? Oh, the TV's choosing what styles of dance, and that's how it's connecting it. So that's why we went from contemporary to jazz. Otherwise, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's doing tap after hip hop. Why? Oh,
yep.
The TV is manipulating it. That's how that makes sense.
Oh, I love
that was a fun one.
Yeah.
I have to go watch that. I have that video somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I think I do too. Yeah. I'm like, oh.
And I loved your guys' costumes.
Oh my God. Yeah, I loved it.
I just thought it was so cool with the anyway. Yeah.
I mean, there hasn't been an event that I have been able to do for you that I haven't loved. Aww. They're all so fun and innovative. So that's why I'm like, where do you get these ideas? Because they are so innovative.
And everyone you ask me will be something different. Every show you ask me, I will tell you a different inspiration.
So with the rock and roll one.
The one where it was the movie or the celebrity one?
The celebrity one.
That one, the client said it's like a rock and roll festival. It was like a rock and roll festival kind of vibe. And they were do a flash mob. And I was like, we've done a lot of flash mobs. How do I flip it up? And I was like, we'll put people on containers. So there was levels. First off, I was like, all right, we're going to play with levels. And this crowd was a demographic of a lot of men from 30 to 50. And I was like, okay, flash mob, festival, rock and roll. And I remember I was getting ready I was getting ready in my bathroom and I was just playing music. And I was like, fuck, I don't have an idea for this. What's entertaining? What would I want to see? And I was like, I used to love watching impersonators. And I was doing my hair and I used to be a Britney Spears impersonator back in the day. It's been a minute. But I remember people got a kick out of that. And I was like, okay. And I used to love watching Michael Jackson ones. And then I was like, all right, what about Prince? Everyone loves Prince. So I was really honed in on Prince because rock and roll, celebrity, you could do a lot with Prince. His music is so well loved. And then I was like, okay, it can't just all be Prince. And I was like, okay, what about, I thought of Kiss. And then that's how they ended up being the Stillwalkers. But I was like, oh, Kiss, a lot of men in that demographic love that band. And then I was like, I love Ozzy Osbourne. And I was like, how do I get that? And I called my husband and I was like, is this weird? And I said, what if we did a flash mob where it's a bunch of celebrities? I was like, but it's not the ones you normally get to see. It's not like the Michael Jacksons and the Elvis, because we see that all the time. I was like, what if I audition dancers and I teach them how to be, because I was always really good at mimicking. I was good at Britney for that. I was really good at watching and just mimicking how they move and they use their mouth and they sing. And I was like, what if we did that? I was like, is that weird? And he was like, that's dope. He's like, that's great. So we didn't know everyone we wanted to do. I had an idea and I went off of music that I really liked. And a lot of it came together when we auditioned, and I just kind of looked at people and I was like, you kind of look like Steven Tyler, you kind of don't. I was like, but just let me see what you can do. You kind of look like Tina, you kind of don't. And then I was like, let's just see who gravitates to it. And then if they had the look, I could teach them. If they didn't have the look, but they had the moves, we can do wonders with, makeup and all of that wonderful costuming. But it was literally in the bathroom thinking, I love Prince. How do I make this make sense? And this is selfish, I've always wanted to choreograph or have a show to Prince music.
Ooh.
Like it's just so much fun to dance to, and it's such a crowd starter. So it literally came from doing my hair in the mirror, thinking, I love Prince music. How do I make this a thing? And then I built all the other celebrities off of it. And then I was like, everyone loves Freddie Mercury, and I love Queen. And then I was like, I want to put a piano on top of the container. And then I thought Quentin was easy to cast for that. He was the perfect personality, and I knew he could do the moves. And then I got permission from the venue of being able to do levels, and then I thought of Ozzy, and then I was like, oh, Axl Rose, and it all of that music with the characters. It was fun, but it really just came from Prince.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now in my head I have two questions. So we're gonna do this in the order they came up in.
Oh, funny.
Along your journey, what has been the most surprising to learn?
Oh my God. About what? Just
About,
anything?
I mean, it can be like super simple about like
Ooh.
presenting to, pitching to a client, or is it, I don't know, it can be a really simple logistic thing, or it can be about yourself.
Surprising to learn in a good thing or a bad thing?
Either one, whatever.
Oof. Okay.
Comes to mind first.
The most surprising to learn. Ooh, I have an answer, but I can't say it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'll tell you later, just to not leave you under. I will have an answer, but there was one that immediately jumped in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Surprising to learn.
Like I had someone say how they're like, it's crazy how resilient the industry is. Like that was so surprising to them, like through COVID.
Oh yeah, that's
that's
wild. I just think of bad ones, but I don't want to be negative. I think. Okay, all right, I'll make it a little more personal. I won't make it so much about the industry. It's about the industry, but it's a more of a personal thing. I was like bullied a lot growing up, and I think I was the weird kid, or I would like have these ideas and it was not well received, or people just didn't see it. I think what's been the coolest journey and the realization is that people actually see it, if that makes sense. Like I might be the weird girl, but there's other weirdos out there that appreciate it. So it was one of those things, like I was bullied a lot. I would eat lunch in the bathroom. Like I didn't have a ton of friends. I had like one or two. Or I would eat with my English teacher, and we would read Harry Potter together. But I was like very much like, I just felt misunderstood a lot. And so I think what's been a really cool thing as I've gotten older and like deeper in this industry is there's a lot of people like me, and we actually really can appreciate these stories, and I actually can be seen or not made fun of, or I'm not such a out there where no one's going to kind of get it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like that I've definitely been very surprised about. And I wish I could go back to myself when I was 15 or, so many ages through school and just be like, it gets better. You'll find people that get it or that won't look at you like, what? Like so many times I would pitch things or just have these ideas or want to dress up a certain way for like a Halloween thing. And it was just like, oh, and I just, when you're growing up, you don't have a lot of confidence, but that's been really cool. And on another personal note, I've been really shocked when I've been able to like fix shit. There's been a lot of events where some bad things have happened, not in like, call the police kind of way, but just there's no way we're going to recover. And somehow we figure it out, or I figure it out. Like it works. I'm really surprised that I'm good at that. The more crazy things get, the calmer I get when it comes to like events. And that has surprised me that I've always been able to have a successful event. I've always been able to solve the problem. And I've had some big problems where you're like this, I'm being punked. Yeah.
So when you say like the crazier the event,
mm-hmm.
the calmer you get, like when you say crazy, like the bigger the event or like the more moving parts?
More like the more things go wrong,
Okay.
the calmer I get. I mean, you can have a big event or a small event, and like anything. If you're handling someone else's money, the client's money, no matter if it's $200 or $200,000 or $2 million, I always take it very seriously. So I've never looked at it like an event of like, oh well, this isn't very much. I'm not going to put my all. So even if I had an event that was like a super small budget, if a really bad thing was going to happen to make the event not be the best, I would take that very seriously, whether it's a celebrity name or not. But yeah, it was one of those things where I remember thinking, if I have to command a team and their attitude helps me get to where I need it to go with the event, I better be as calm as possible, and I better be as positive and encouraging, because who wants a leader or a captain or, whatever your title is, to be frantic and panicking, because that's contagious. Everyone else is going to. And I've had some pretty freaking crazy things where I had long time ago, I was doing this 4th of July celebration event, and someone lit off a firework, and there was fire, a full fire. And my production manager at the time runs up to me, and so I was kind of his boss, but like he runs up, he's like, "There's a bush on fire and it's near people." And I said, "What?" and he was like, "There's a bush, it's on fire and near people." And I said, "Okay." And as soon as I hear that, like 911, this is bad, I just get a calm, because I'm like, problem solved, let's go, and we fixed it. It was fine. No one was hurt. I didn't sign an NDA for that one, so that one's okay. But yeah, like I've had some pretty bad things, and it's like I always get to this meditative kind of state of like, you have to be calm for everyone else to be able to stay calm to get through it. Yeah, it's probably why I don't sleep much. That's why all the stress comes out then. It explains a lot about my personality. My husband's going to watch this and be like, yeah.
Exactly, I'll get a random unknown call. Yeah. Whatever she said was true. That's why she doesn't sleep.
Yeah, I've never been good at sleeping. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. One of my favorite things about the podcast and interviewing and hearing everything you have to share is I love connecting the dots of like, that's why you're made to be in this position. Oh. Like I guarantee, yes, there's probably many people out there, producers who are like, I'm calm under stress. But then just to hear how it just kind of, I don't want to say effortlessly, but easily kind of, you're like, we always make it happen, is like, nah, you are the perfect person to be doing what you're doing. And like, there was no other plan for you.
I honestly believe that. If you believe in like a divine calling or a mastery plan in life or whatever, I do think I wasn't the best dancer ever. I wasn't the prettiest. I wasn't the skinniest or whatever it was. But I honestly think it was because I was supposed to do this. I think I was supposed to, I'm really good at this and I love it and it's so fulfilling. And I love giving dancers material that they love. And I love being able to treat them with the respect they've earned. I've talked about that a lot when people have worked with me, which you have a lot. I appreciate that so much more. And I love being behind the camera a lot, to be able to just see dancers show off fucking crazy skills. That's another thing that I find kind of shameful of. There are so many brilliant artists, dancers, whatever you want to call them, musicians, even singers, that they never get a spotlight. They work so hard. They're so damn talented. And it just doesn't work out for whatever, happens in life. I love that sometimes I'm the one that gives them, I'm able, not just me, others, but I'm able to give them a moment to like show off their talent, because that's so cool. Like, I know how hard they've worked. I can see it. You can see the training, and they only got there because they're so passionate. And it's really cool to be able to give people those little moments, to have a little like shining moment.
I love that. I love that so much. And I do have to tell you this, because I don't know if anybody's ever told you, but earlier I said your passion just like pours out of you. And in case no one's told you, whenever like you show up to rehearsals and you are in that, you're just living it, it makes, at least I can speak for me, and I would bet money that other people would say this as well, but it makes us and me just work so much harder and feel so much more loved and feel so much more cared about. That
Good,
it's
I'm
like,
glad I'm not annoying. You never know. Like, some people might be like, "Shut the hell up, go away."
I mean, maybe, but like, at least for me, it's like,
Thank you.
How can you not be on your shit right now? Like, she's out here pouring her heart out. Like, hello, and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited because it's like,
that's a really cool way of putting it.
Yeah, to work for somebody who you just see them care so much, and it's like, yes, I love being here.
Yeah, and I think, I think I'm a softie, but I'm also not a softie. Like, in my mind, if I'm showing up, I demand that too in return. And I think everyone does for me. I am picky who I hire because I want that drive. I don't care if you can do a perfect, 4 pirouettes into, whatever kind of jump. I really like the passion. If you're that dedicated, if you want to take that crazy journey with me for whatever couple rehearsals we have into the show, I'd like to think that's why my clients hire me, at least most of them. I like to think that's why people know my work is because of that. I demand a certain level because I demand it out of myself. Because otherwise, what's the point? Like, why are we doing this otherwise?
Amen. And it trickles down.
Oh,
it trickles down.
That makes me happy to hear.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Sometimes I'm like, she's just the crazy blonde that shows up. And I'm like, hello.
She's just the one that tells me that I need to do it this way.
I know. And sometimes people look at me like, what? And I'm like, I'll just show you. Here we go.
I gotta tell you, those are my favorite moments of rehearsal. I'm like, yes, Hope, let's go.
Stop. Yeah. And that's always when I do it. I'm like, I need to go to the gym more. I'm like, fuck, I haven't done this in a long time. Because I liked eating bread. That dancer diet is fucking rough.
Oh my gosh. No, I
had
to tell you that I love it so much.
I love it. I just love it. I love it so much. I would do it if I wasn't making money off of it. I'm so lucky that I can make money doing off of those things. And there's a lot of bullshit that goes in that's not fun. And, it is part of the job. A lot of more of the behind the scenes. Nothing ever with when I get to interact with dancers. But I can honestly say I fucking love it. I get emotional in rehearsals. You've seen it when you see the dancers really dedicate. Again, that's that weird girl in school that got bullied. And it's like, oh, the cool dancers are actually telling my story or on board with me. They're not Whenever I went to auditions growing up, I never felt cool. I was in the back, worried I was going to fail. And everyone was in front and really pretty outfits, and I didn't have money, so I was in a shabby outfit. I just remember never feeling seen and just worried and whatever. And now it's just cool, and it's changed.
I love that. Okay, super random question.
Yeah, you have good questions, by the way.
Oh,
I'm still waiting for you to hit me with the weather outside. I'll make a story out of it.
That's for the end.
Yeah, you should. That's funny.
It'll be your next event.
Okay. The weather. Yeah. I could make something out of that. Go ahead. Instantly, I thought, no joke, my brain just went to storm clouds. And that can be a sign of emotional trauma. My brain just went to a full story of okay, I can make him look like this. And we're going to do this kind of music. Let's just.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's an idea.
You never know.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead with your question.
Okay, wait, I think I have to ask a previous question or a pre-question. Have you ever thought about opening up your own show? Is that something you've ever been into?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could tomorrow, what would it be about?
Oh, I already have the whole thing.
Oh,
I already have it.
I'll tell you. A good question.
I was 19 and I wrote the whole thing. I know the costumes. I know most of the music. I have the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. One day I will test it with a small group. And if it reads and if I get right funding, whatever. Yeah, but no, that's been, okay. I'm 36, so 19, how many years? Yeah.
Wow.
No, that one started writing at a young age, the whole thing. And I always see it turning into a movie, to be a show that ends up going into a movie.
I think it's so funny that you said that, because earlier when you were describing, I don't even know if I can remember the pinpoint of it, but when you were talking about, telling stories throughout, the experience and everything, I was actually a good way to describe your events would be a live movie.
Yes.
That's what...
That's the whole goal.
Yeah. That's the perfect...
That is the whole goal.
Explanation.
Thanks for saying that. That's awesome.
It's experiencing...
I love movies, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to have a beginning. You have to have a middle. You have to have a climax. There has to be some sort of an antagonist. There has to be a protagonist. I did theater a little bit in school, but... Yeah, I always say I want if I have the opportunity, I'd love my shows to be mini movies. And when I wrote that one at 19, I came up with the main character, with the antagonist. I came up with the backstory. I wrote it like a movie, but I never was into movies. I was just wanting to do full shows. And I was like, this could be a show. And then I started going to more shows and like, oh yeah, the format could work. And then I went to college to get my degree and I was like, it really could work. But yeah, it just, I'm hoping life works out timing wise that I can do it one day. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That makes
But
me
that's
happy.
awesome. You said that about the movie. That's the whole point.
Yeah. I don't think there's any better way to describe it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I told you I was going to give you a different version of this question. Is there a story that you can share?
Oh, okay.
Whether it was like working with a dancer or even like, and then we haven't even touched on this yet, but even when it was creating or helping create base of operations, any story that you can tell where you were like this is a pivotal moment. Like this moment just stands out from everything else I've done so far.
Oh, wow. Ooh. It's hard to say it without talking about another company. I'm thinking. Sorry.
No.
A moment. I think it was one of the show ideas that I had done. I won't say which because you could kind of pinpoint timelines and whatever, but it was a situation where it wasn't the TV one, but it was a different one where a lot of people were like, it's not going to work, whatever. It was just kind of dark and I did it anyway. And there was that moment where it's kind of like a movie where you saw the dancer. To me, I saw it like slow. You were in it. I will tell you that you were in it. It was like I saw everything in slow motion. It was a really rough prep. I was doing multiple things at the event, not just the show. But there's a lot going on. It was bad. I was kind of down. A lot of people were just doubting a lot of different things. But anyway, so the show's happening, the lights, the camera, the action. And I kind of took myself out of myself, around my body, and saw the story, the dancing, the costumes, the music, the lights, all of that. And the audience was fucking eating it up. Like, they just were just having the best time. And the cheers were so fucking cool to hear. And at that point, I was like, I'm good at this. Like, it was like a moment where I was like, okay, I can do this. Because like you always have doubt, even when you get booked for things. And I'd already been doing it for so many years, so you still have doubts, and people question you. I'll say another question you asked. What's something that surprises you about the industry? And it's kind of a negative. There's a lot of people who just try to bring you down. And it sucks. And whatever motives they have, I don't really always kind of get it. But so many times you just want to create some cool shit. And there's so many like negative conversations and viewpoints. And it's just can be very negative and dark. And that kind of surprises me because I'm like, we all want to create. Why can't we all get along? So this particular moment, no matter how much of the negative stuff was happening around this whole event / show, in that moment, everyone looked so happy. And my husband was there, and because I share the company with him and he was working a different part of it, he came up to me and he was like, that was fucking dope. And it's hard to get a compliment out of him with what we do because he's seen everything. And him saying that like was pretty cool. But just seeing everyone and the dancers had such great responses to it. I just remember feeling like confident in myself of like, no matter how much bullshit could happen, how negative, how many people might want you to doubt yourself. And not just me, this happens for a lot of people. You can just find those fellas and ladies that just kind of have a darker, negative outlook on things. It was like, screw what they say. This is good.
Love that. Yes.
Yeah. And that moment I said, fuck this. That was dope. And I'm always finding things to perfect. But in that moment, I was like, that was cool.
Oh, that's great.
I'll tell you which dance later.
Okay. Have you always wanted to have your own production company?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Especially when I found out early on, I started with one company. I won't name it, and no one can kind of trace back timeline because it was early in my career. It was very toxic. It was bad. I learned a lot though, because like I was kind of like thrown into some big events. but there was just a lot of things that I didn't think was done right. And because I saw so much of that kind of world happening and it could be very toxic, I was like, no, this is a stressful industry that we're in. There is no reason we need to make it more stressful by the team we have around us, by like how you treat people, how you pay people. Pay your people, right, man? Like that's important. It shows value. You want to value good players. And that, yeah, I was like, sometimes I'm like, the only way that's going to happen is if I do my own company. And like, even with dancers, that way I can do contracts the way I want to do contracts with dancers. I can pay as fast as I want to pay with dancers. I can give them costumes that I would want to wear. I can make sure they have catering on the day. I can make sure that they have a proper load-in video so they're not frantic, little things like that.
Yeah.
It's like I can have more control. I've had so many jobs where I was low on the totem pole and I had to do it the boss's way. And I just felt it was wrong. I was like, these are people, or you could prep people better. This is already a crazy day. And we're normally dealing with a lot of money. This is some client, some person's money. I really respect handling it with care. And it's like, don't waste it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your face.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a meme.
Okay, this is another random question.
Okay.
Where did you get the name Base of Operations?
Oh, so JD, my husband, so I had a company when it was just me, myself, and I called Struck, and it was like years ago. I opened it either right before COVID or just around that time. It was before my Area 15 days, and I was doing really well. And I had this idea of, you're struck by lightning, meaning like lightning only hits one spot once. So my events, you're never going to get it again, like the way I work. So that's kind of how I had that idea.
Love it.
Opened it. It was doing really good. COVID happened. Right. I was pretty determined to keep it, but then I had a great opportunity to work at Area 15. Through the COVID times, I was very grateful for a job. Then everything else kind of closed down. Anyway, cut 2 years later, I'm married, and my husband also is in our industry, and we share very similar ideas about how events should be run and shows and creative and stories. And it was he was like, I've always wanted it to be called like Base of Operations. Like this is where the crew comes together. This is where we make cool shit happen. And I love Halloween and he does too. And he was like, I really want it because like Base of Operations is shortened Boo, which is a ghost. He's like, and that could be our mascot. And I was like, yes. So Boo Crew, meaning like we're the Base of Operations crew. So we say Boo Crew a lot. Yeah. So it was his idea and I just loved it. I loved the idea of like, yeah, this is like camp. This is where it all happens. Like when our crew shows up, we're fucking good, like the people I bring on are the best. I'm very lucky with the production men and women that I get to work with, the lighting team, the video team, the choreographers, the makeup, all of that. Like I'm very lucky that I've found some really good people. I always think of like if you've ever seen the movie Tombstone, I love that movie, and you see like Doc and Wyatt and the rest of the crew like walking, and they're just such a solid team. And I always wanted that to like be the feeling when you're on site. You just you've got some cool people.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think I have 2 more questions for you.
Okay, you get one. I'm just kidding, and it better be about the weather.
Okay, fine, 3.
What is the weather?
Throughout all the ups and downs, because I know the industry can be a lot, what has kept you going? Like if there was a day that you were like, I can't do it anymore.
Oh God, there's been so many of those days. Yep. So many jobs. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Whether it's like a ritual or a person or I don't know.
It is remembering the good the moments you just want to say, fuck this, I'm tired, I haven't slept in days, why am I dealing with these crazy people? Like those, you think of the good times, you think of when you come strong, when the event happens, when the load-in happens and it's smooth, when the rehearsals happen on the day and it's, you're problem solving, whatever. I just remember that feeling of feeling so accomplished. I think a lot of people have self-doubt and some sort of like self-rejection in their own way and, issues with self-confidence. No one's fully confident. I don't care what you say. Mm-hmm. But that I'm so confident in those moments, it's like it just kind of feeds your soul. So I have to remind myself like the good times and the good people and the good things we get to hang around. Because of course there's been times where you're like, God, I just want to watch a movie and sit with popcorn and not worry about my phone buzzing 100 million times. And did the shipment come in okay? And oh my God, the weather's coming. Everything's going to go to shit. Did I get that permit approved? Oh my God, the city's coming. You know, sometimes you're like, could I just like work at an easier job, like a 9 to 5? But then it's like, oh, I would miss it. I would miss that high and that creation, that stories, the storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And it's happened a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
have to like just remind yourself, why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like you're going to have a good answer for this. I don't ask this question.
I keep hitting this. Oh my God, I'm a boxer.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't ask this question often, but I have a feeling. If you could put a message on a billboard for everyone to see, what would you want it to say?
About the industry or just anything?
Anything.
What a cool question. I feel like someone's probably put this before, but I would be like, it's fucking cool to be weird. Yeah, something like that, or it's fucking cool to be weird. Yeah, I think a lot of people like are into things like really cool artsy things, or maybe they're really good at bird watch. I don't know, but like that's cool. If you have a passion about, I love people who are passionate about things, you know? Yeah, I could say a story about my husband, but he'll get mad at me. But he was just really passionate about something when we first started dating, and it was so cute. I had no passion for it. I was like, I'm not into it. He's like really into like trees, and I was like, that's really cool. I was like, I have no passion for this, but it was so cool to see that. So I would say like it's really cool to be weird, or just celebrate your passion. I think it's so cool when people are just love and can talk about something forever. Like it's so exciting. If you've ever gone on a bad date and just trying to find like them to be passionate about something and they've got nothing, I was like, nothing excites you? Come on, life is so thrilling. Like,
how do you get up in the morning?
Kind of, yeah. In high school, I remember I asked one guy, what's your favorite band? And he's like, I don't like music. And I was like, I was like, okay, no.
Gotta go.
Yeah, that was years ago, so I'm not worried about that story. Yeah, gotta go. Peace out.
Gotta go. It's raining outside. Gotta get home safe.
Yeah. Music, anything, man.
Right. But is there anything else you would like the listeners to hear from you today?
Aw, I just think it's really cool that anyone wants to hear what I have to say. I think I'm still that kid that eats lunch in the bathroom sometimes. You're like, no one wants to talk to me. I just think it's cool you wanted to talk to me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How's the weather?
Hopefully raining. Fuck, man. I don't think it is. Someone let me know. That's cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Before the Curtain. Please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever it is you listen to the podcast. We love to hear your virtual round of applause. If you know of a production or artist that deserves to have their story told, send us an email or message us on Instagram by clicking the link in the description.